All right, today in this short video, we are going to look at multiplying decimals by a whole number. And if we remember that multiplication means it is basically repeated addition. So when we look at the problem 24 hundredths times 4, we really are going to show 4 groups of 24 hundredths. We can show this in 3 different ways, probably more than that. We're going to show you 3 different ways on this video. So the first thing that I'm going to use is our 100ths grids, and we're going to shade in 4 groups of 24 hundredths. So I'm going to shade in my first group of 24 hundredths. So that represents one group of 24 hundredths. I'm going to go ahead and shade in another group of 24 hundredths. So there's 20, remembering that each strip is 1/10. And then I'm going to shade in 4 there. So that's another 24 hundredths. I always try to shade in the full tenths as I go along and then fill in the other areas. So here's another 24 hundredths. And there's 2 there and 2 here, giving us 24 hundredths. And then I'm going to shade in our last 24 hundredths, which there's my 20, and I need 4. So looking at our picture, we can see that 24 hundredths times 4, or 4 groups of 24 hundredths, is equivalent to 96 hundredths. We can also prove that 24 hundredths times 4 is 96 hundredths by using a place value chart. And you can either use base 10 blocks, or as we discussed in class, we can use dots to represent each place value. So again, we're going to do 24 hundredths times 4. So I'm going to show you 4 groups of 24 hundredths. Well, 24 hundredths, there are 2 tenths, so I'm going to put 2 tenths, and there are 4 hundredths. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that represents one group of 24 hundredths because there are 2 tenths and 4 hundredths. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm showing you my 4 groups of 24 hundredths. Like everything we've talked about in place value, we cannot have more than 10 units in one place value, or more than 9, because as soon as we have 10 hundredths, it becomes 1/10. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to group 10 of these out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to take these 10 hundredths because 10 hundredths is equal to 1/10. So I'm going to take those 10 and turn them into a 1/10. If you use the base 10 blocks, remember we can see that much more clearly. This is just a shorthand method. So I'm going to cross those off because we've already taken those over. And so what I'm left with is now I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 tenths, so that's plenty there, and I have 6 hundredths. So I have 9 tenths and 6 hundredths. So 24 hundredths times 4, or 4 groups of 24 hundredths, again, is 96 hundredths. The last way that we showed in class that we could represent 24 hundredths times 4, or a decimal times a whole number, is to show an open number line. And an open number line, we don't have to have benchmarks, we don't have to have anything. We just start at 0, and basically we're saying we're going to take 4 jumps of 24 hundredths. So my first jump is going to take me to 24 hundredths. That's one jump. I need 4 of them. I need 4 groups. So I'm going to add 24 hundredths to 24 hundredths, and since we already know that when adding decimals we keep it lined up because of the place value, that means that if I add another jump, I should end up with 48 hundredths right here. So 2 jumps, or 2 groups of 24 hundredths, is 48. I'm going to go ahead and add another group to show that the third jump, or the third group, means that I would have 72 hundredths. If I add 24 hundredths again, giving me the fourth group, again, you can see that that fourth jump is going to take me to 96 hundredths. So we're showing 4 groups of 24 hundredths is equivalent to 96 hundredths. Remember that each of these methods work because we are showing repeated addition. We are showing how, whatever the whole number is, that many groups of the decimal. So again, we can use our 10 by 10 grid where we shade in 4 groups of 24 hundredths. We can represent it with a place value chart where we use dots in each place value, or we can use an open number line. Later this week, we will talk about the area model and cross shading.